Hi, I'm Neil at Italia Autos, and in this video something a little bit different for you. I'm going to be reviewing the 2020 version Alfa Romeo Stelvio. Now let's start with a little walk around the vehicle. We still have got the chrome grille trim fitted to the front end. I do believe an option now on some of the models is a black one, and it does look a lot better. I also like around the exterior of the car, the arch trim and the skirts are painted black rather than just being plastic grey. That does make the car look a lot better. We've got 20-inch wheels fitted here with 255 45-inch 20 Michelin tyres. I do find that there is quite a lot of road noise from these tyres when going down the motorway. Back end we do have real exhausts, but with exhaust trim around them to make them look bigger. Now onto the back seat. This is set up for my 6-foot seating position. It's a little bit tight, but it will be perfectly fine for some short journeys. My knees are touching the seat. Plenty of headroom with no issues here at all. I could probably happily sit here for a couple of hour drive, but in the passenger seat you have absolutely tons of room. You've also got a very nice fold down armrest with some cup holders. Another update they have done, they have moved the bonnet opening or the hood opening to here, which is a lot easier to find rather than where they did hide it underneath the dash here on the Giulia I've got. Nicely sized central cubby hole with 2 USB ports, an audio jack and a 12-volt power supply. This is the newly updated and restyled centre console. You now get somewhere to store your key. You also get an updated gear knob, which is part leather, and you still get your 2 cup holders up front. You now get a touch screen and also an updated infotainment system. I found it very good and a massive improvement over the old one, but I still found that I used the controls rather than using the touchscreen function whilst I was driving. So that was a quick walk out around the outside, so let's go for a drive now and see how well it drives. Now this is probably going to be the closest we're going to get to off-roading in this. There's a few potholes here. And see how well it handles them. I'm not deliberately going slow or anything like that. It's perfectly fine, it can cope with those. Yep, that's fine. Some of those are quite big, no grounding out or anything like that. Now onto the main roads. Let's go and have a drive and see what it's like. Now onto a little bit of normal road driving now. Only normal, just pottering along. The engine noise, you can hear it. It's a diesel at the end of the day. Not intrusive into the cabin at all. You can't hear it when you've got the normal road noise going or your radio's on or you're travelling above 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour. you can't really hear the engine at all, so it's not going to really bother many people. Brakes are good. As I say, can you hear that engine noise now under heavy acceleration? You do hear it, but once you're up to normal driving speeds, perfectly quiet. Let's pop it in dynamic now and see what the difference is. Throttle response is a lot better. Definitely picked a nice day for driving, and as it's a Monday lunchtime, the roads are reasonably quiet. Now, for a medium-sized 4x4, this does hold the road very well indeed, and it also soaks up the bulbs quite well. Let's go around this nice fast corner here, and yeah, there's no body roll at all, so you can treat this car exactly like a saloon car. Yeah, very nice and comfortable indeed. Yeah, the brakes on this are really good. I left that braking quite late there, and it did handle that very well. No side to side motion when driving. It was all tickety boo. You know what? I think this car is really starting to grow on me. My main driving car, as some of you are aware, is a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I've now had that for 3.5 years, and it's a very good and capable car for towing. This can tow, I think, up to 2,400 kilograms. So you will tow any caravan with it and some small trailers, but it would be quite on the limit for me when I'm towing my car trailer with another big saloon on it. It would probably be right at its maximum, if not a little bit over capacity. But it's definitely got enough power to tow. Actually, the 0 to 60 time is faster than my Jeep. I'll have to check the torque figures out, but I can't imagine it's too much down on torque. But yeah, this could be a contender for replacing the Jeep if that day ever comes. Nice little bit of twisty road now. Show you how well it handles. I will slow down a little bit though, because it's a sheer drop the other side. Yeah, there's no body roll there at all. Come out the corner faster. Yeah, that handles perfectly fine. I've got no complaints. It's a diesel at the end of the day. It's not a sports car. It's not a quadrifoglio. It does what's written on the tin, and it does it very well indeed. So what I think is best to do now, let's head to the motorway so we can test out some of the new features. Right, we're currently set to 50 miles an hour, which is about as fast as we're going to be able to go at this time of night. So let's see what distance it keeps now. It was set to the distance of that green car in front, which has now moved over. So now you can feel the car's accelerated a little bit more to get up to 50 miles an hour, and it's going to keep that same distance between myself and the lorry up front now. Now, one other feature this car has got, I didn't think it had it, but it will change lanes for you as well. So let this car pass us. I'm going to indicate to go out, just keeping my hands on the steering wheel. And when it's safe to do so, it moves you across. And I've kept the indicator on, so it's kept me right across the outside lane. Lane guidance has come back on. Road's clear ahead, so it'll take me up to 70 miles an hour. Overtake this car and we shall pull back in again. The car has automatically changed lanes for me. I've cancelled the indicator. Green lights will come on again for the steering to saying it's taken full control again. I think it probably would get a little bit confused during heavy traffic or when the road markings on the road become quite faint. There was an area a few miles back where the lines had sort of mostly disappeared, and it did throw an error message up saying limited visibility. So you definitely do need to keep your wits about you still while you're driving. So when I'm steering, that's all I'm doing on the steering, is just sort of putting a little bit of pressure to the steering. You can even get away with putting one finger on the front of it, most of the time anyway. So yeah, 2 fingers on the front, perfectly fine. 3 fingers, that's fine. 1 finger, doesn't quite like 1 finger there. So I've got 2 fingers and it doesn't mind doing that. Also at the bottom of the steering wheel, that works. The place it doesn't work is from behind the steering wheel. So as long as you've got sort of 2 fingers on the steering wheel, it is perfectly happy. So I've been driving this round most of the day, and I think I fell in love with it. It is actually a really nice car to drive. I'm finding it very difficult to find any negatives. I'm judging the engine on the fact that it is an economical diesel and it's there for towing caravans and things like that. So I'm basing my review on the diesel engine, not any of the other cars in the range. But for what a lot of people will buy this car for, it'll be a commuting car to get yourself to and from work, or it'll be a school run car. That's what most of these Mini 4x4s end up being used for. And you know, in that situation, I cannot fault the car at all. The build quality is absolutely amazing. The steering feel has been carried over from the Stelvio Quadrifoglio and the Giulia Quadrifoglio. It feels pin sharp. The comfort from the suspension is absolutely bang on. They've done a good job of setting that up, and also the way it handles, the fact there's very little body roll, and it's just handles so much better than other 4x4s I've driven, and I've driven quite a few. So you know, Alfa, you know, hats off to them. They have done a phenomenal job on this Stelvio. Now I do have one little niggle and one ever so slight negative to do with this car, and now I'm being extremely picky. The first sort of picky one would be the headlining colouring. I think in such a nice car with all this leather interior and the leather dashboard, it would have been nicer to have a darker colour headlining, because I sort of feel as though when you've got a black headlining and the B pillars and A pillars, you sort of encapsulate it a little bit more into the car, and you're focused on driving rather than what's inside the car. So I personally prefer a darker coloured headlining and A pillars, just so it takes you off the inside of the car and it makes whatever is out the windscreen look a lot more obvious. And the other problem I've got with it ever so slightly is the diesel noise from it. It's a cracking engine, loads of power, loads of torque, very economical, but from 10 to 15 miles an hour it does sound very diesely, and when you put your foot down to higher revs it does sound very diesely. But when you're driving now, I'm doing 45 miles an hour, it's perfectly fine. When you're on the motorway, it's perfectly fine. But when you're putting your foot down and you're driving a little harder, you do have a lot of engine noise, which in effect you're not really going to get rid of in diesel engines. I know the BMW 3 Series 330D engine was a phenomenal engine, but the BMW 2 litre diesel engine was really loud and very diesely. It was actually a lot worse than this one. So they're my 2 little picky negatives about the car, and that is pretty much as far as I can go with negatives. It's, you know, everything's in the right spot, it drives nice, and it's perfectly economical and does everything you could possibly want it to do in a car. And you know, it has even got that little element of sportiness to it as well. So good on Alfa for getting this right. So what's next for the Stelvio? I do think within the next few years we're going to see a full electric and a hybrid one, and I think it will translate very well to electric, because the handling is so well in it now. If you move some of the weights around from the front engine being removed to batteries being in the floor, it's perfectly possible for Alfa to do that. I'm not a huge fan of hybrids myself, but I have driven one, and they are okay. But yeah, I'm all for full electrification of this car. I think it would be a very good car. Just got to say a massive thanks to Research Garage in Nuneaton for doing a fantastic job of letting me loan this car all day, and Salbert Ali, the sales guy, for arranging it all for me. The Research Garage are brilliant. I've used them twice now, once to buy a brand new car and once to buy a used Giulia Quadrifoglio, and they've done a fantastic job. I can't complain one single bit about the service I've received. So if you want anything new, used, give them a shout and they will try and do their best to help you out. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. It's something a little bit different to what I normally do. Rather than being stuck in a garage for a change, I've been able to spend a whole day out and about driving a car, which has been great fun. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button for me because it does mean a lot, and also if you could share this video because I want to get it out and get as many views on it as possible. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.